Okay, here's your first video for calculus. This is beginning of chapter 1. First page of your note says quick review. So do these 5 problems and we'll go over them in class. If you do not remember how to do them, then you should look it up. Everything in chapter 1 is a review, but we will do chapter 1. Okay, so here we have section 1 notes. This is all, oh wait a minute, we don't want that one. We want this one, not filled in. Section 1 notes. This is all linears. So notice we're graphing and writing an equation of a line, and we're looking at the relationship between perpendicular and parallel lines and slopes. So the first example talks about a particle. You're going to have a lot of particle problems in calculus, so these aren't going anywhere. And it moves from point AB to point BC. These are coordinate points. So you can think, here's AB and here's CD, and they want to know the slope if I put a line between those two. If I have 2 points, then I can find the slope. This is our old slope formula from pre-algebra and algebra 1. Subtract your y's divided by subtract your x's. Slope is always a ratio. It's the ratio of rise over run. Rise is your y values, so rise goes on the top. Run is your x values, so x's go on the bottom. So in our problem, if I call this x1 and this y1 and this x2 and this y2, my slope would be d minus b over c minus a. Or if I call this x2, y2 and this x1, y1, then this would be b minus c all over a minus d. So it doesn't matter what you call x1, y1, and x2, y2. Slope. Slope often is not called slope, especially in a word problem or a free response. So this says brainstorm with your partner some other ways to talk about slope. So you don't have a partner, but do that on your own, and then we'll talk about it in class. Perpendicular and parallel lines, I already filled this part in. So you're going to want to fill that in. The slope of parallel lines are the same, and the slope of perpendicular line are opposite reciprocals. The product of these slopes for perpendicular lines would be -1. So for example, if the slope of your line is positive 1/2, the slope of a line perpendicular would be negative. That's the opposite part. And the reciprocal means flip the fraction, -2 over 1, or just -2. So that's an example. Now this is different ways to write an equation of a line. What do you need to know to write an equation of a line? You need a point, an x and a y, and you need a slope, which we call m. So to write an equation of a line, you need a point and a slope. Slope-intercept form looks like this. Y all by itself, one side of the equal sign, there's your slope. B is your y-intercept. That is the point where your line intersects the y-axis, sorry. So that's your y-intercept. Standard form or general form looks like this. Ax plus by equals c. So x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. C, a plain old number, think C stands for constant, is on the other side. The other thing you need to know about standard form is you will have no fractions, all whole numbers. So A, B, and C are all whole numbers. Point slope, which you'll use often in calculus because you're usually given a point and a slope, or you determine the slope. Point slope, when you learned it back in algebra 1, looked like this. So this is your point, your x1, y1 is your point, and this is your slope. Or in calculus, they often do it like this. And I do it like this a lot also. So you're just adding that y1 on the end. So you don't have to change the sign when you use this one. I tend to use that form more often. Okay, so write an equation of a line. You're going to do this a ton in calculus, so you need to be very good at this. You're given a point, and then it says write an equation of a line through this point. So I know for both of these, I'm going to write an equation, and that's going to be my point. And then that is parallel and perpendicular to this line. So this line has a slope of 3. It's in slope-intercept form. The coefficient of the x is my slope. So this has a slope of 3. So a line parallel to it would also have a slope of 3. So there's my point and my slope. So I can write my equation in point-slope form because I'm given the point and the slope. I don't know the y-intercept, so I can't use slope-intercept form. Point and a slope, you have to use point-slope form. So it would look like this: y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now it says I can leave it in point slope, but you would never leave this. This would simplify into x plus 1. So that would be an equation of a line and point slope. This one, same point, but my slope, because it's perpendicular to this line, is going to be the opposite. Positive becomes negative. 3 over 1 becomes 1 over 3. So opposite reciprocals. So it's going to look basically the same till I get to this part where I put in my slope. Okay? So here's this line and this line are parallel. Sorry, this line and this line are parallel. This line and this line are perpendicular. That is it for 1-1. I guess I'll do 1-2 in another video.